Have you ever gotten one of those phone calls? They kind of go something like this. Gina, Sue is really bugging me. I need you to fix it. She did this and this and this and this. Just make it go away. I used to get a lot of those phone calls. And truthfully, I still get a few. But I act differently with them now. This morning, I was thinking about the last 6 months. And I've been on a pretty big roller coaster journey the last 6 months. One of the major things that I've been dealing with is grief. I lost my brother about 3.5 months ago. And when I got back after doing the mad dash across the country, I was trying to settle into the routines of life again. And I got one of those phone calls. And it was something about, it was a good friend of mine called to complain about something another good friend of mine did. And she told me the whole story. And then she said to me, okay, so now that you're back, can you just fix this and make it go away? And you know what? I took a moment, thought, and said, you know, I'm sorry, but I'm choosing not to. Because what I realize now is that when people call me to fix things, all I'm doing is stuffing my own feelings down. And when you're actively dealing with grief, you need to put yourself first. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross says there are 5 stages of grief. There's also lots of literature out there saying there's no such thing. And you always have grief once you've experienced it. I actually believe in both. I do believe that when a grief is new or newly discovered, there are 5 stages of active grief. And I think then once it settles into your body and it stays with you. My line now is, I walk with grief. But I really want to give you a tip. When you're dealing with grief, or even when you're just putting yourself forward and looking after yourself, you need to really stop and think about it before you take on someone else's problems. It's so tempting to say, yes, I will fix it. But when you do that, all you're doing is pushing your own feelings down and not dealing with them. And I want you to have a really good visual on this. So imagine the tissue paper are your feelings. This is you, and there's only so much room. When you take on someone else's problems, this is what you are doing. You're pushing your feelings to the very bottom and filling them up with someone else's issues. Hope the visual works. So if you are just in life in general, not just when you're dealing with grief, but in life in general, you know what? When someone comes to you and says, can you fix this? Can you make this go away? I want you to stop. I want you to stop. When will you stop and ask yourself, what is it costing you to do all that you do for others? Because there is a cost. And in this case, it means you're at the very, very bottom. I hope this helps you in some way. Or you know what, if you think you know someone who can need a tip like this, please forward it. I'd love for you to leave comments below. Thank you very much. I'm Gina Best.